Hi everybody, welcome back to our kitchen. Glad to see you back here, and I have a recipe today that I found on the internet. I've never made it. It looked interesting. Everybody's heard of Mississippi pot roast, but there's a lot of people out there making it with chicken, and so I figured I would do a Mississippi chicken recipe, gluten-free, dairy-free. And I'll show you why it's gluten-free and dairy-free when I get into the recipe. First of all, Instant Pot. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil to it. Now I'm using olive oil. A lot of people use butter. First of all, I've got onion, and I chopped it into fairly big pieces. You don't have to fine dice it. And I've got this on saute. And as soon as it heats up, I'm going to throw the onions in there, and I'll be right back. Okay, it got hot, and so I threw my onions in here. I'm going to saute them for a little bit. Now, the question is, do you want to saute your chicken first? If you do, put the chicken in first in a couple batches, because you don't want it sitting on top of each other, or it'll just boil instead of browning. So you can brown it, not very long. It's still going to be raw in the middle, but I don't think that step's necessary today because I don't feel like doing it. But if you do, take it out with a spoon and put it on a plate, and then do your onions. Get all out of the way. Gonna let this saute a little bit until the onions start getting nice and translucent, which means clear for you guys that don't know what that means. Now the whole thing about the Instant Pot is you want to make sure that the bottom's smooth and cleaned off of any little bits and pieces of cooked on scraps, like if your chicken gets stuck to the bottom or you use seasoning on your chicken. Don't panic yet until you pour the liquid in, and then you start scraping the bottom of your pot, or you'll get a burn notice. Okay, that seems good enough. I'm going to throw in, oh no, I got to do the garlic. Garlic doesn't need to be in here for very long because it'll burn. So I'm just going to throw this in here. This is 6 cloves. You can use less if you don't like that much garlic, or you can leave it out. Let that for maybe a minute. We don't want to burn it. It always goes in after the onions and things like that. If you're using peppers, onions and peppers, celery, whatever, you always add the garlic last. Now we'll do the chicken. You don't have to cook it very long. What we're going to add now is a half a cup of the pepperoncini. I call it pepperoncini. Other people call it pepperoncini. It's got an O in the middle, but we never use the O. We always call it pepperoncini. Half a cup of the juice out of the jar. And I've got 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. I've got, let me do the seasonings first. 1 ranch dressing packet. Now, here's the thing. Ranch dressing mix has buttermilk in it. So for all you guys out there that don't have to watch your dairy because you're lactose intolerant, you can just use a packet. I made my own. I cut out a lot of the salt that was in the packet, and I'm just going to sprinkle that on the top. Also, I have what they call au jus, which is basically a gravy. and they sell it in packets. And again, it's got gluten in it, so I had to make my own. I'm going to be putting these mixes, the recipes for them, on the bottom under Show More. Now this is a chicken gravy mix that I made, and I lost my tablespoon. There it is. And what it's got in it basically is the chicken granules, bouillon, parsley, cornstarch for the gravy, and it actually, 1 packet of au jus would be 4.5 teaspoons of the mix. I'm going to do a tablespoon. This is 3 teaspoons. And then I need another teaspoon. I'm just going to do 2 teaspoons. I'm not going to do a half. And I'm going to mix this up with the chicken. This is an easy recipe. You don't want to go out on your, like today, it's cold. It's 28 degrees, and it's going to be 4 degrees tonight. So I'm mixing these mixes in with the chicken. This was my gravy mix, or au jus. And now I want to add chicken broth to it. 2 cups of chicken broth. And what I did is my secret thing. I put a teaspoon of Dijon in here. Okay. Now, if you wanted a thick gravy, I'm not sure how this cornstarch is going to come out, but if I wanted a thicker gravy, I don't think I do for the way we're going to eat it. We had a debate on how to serve it. You can shred it up when it's done, put it on sandwiches. You can put it over mashed potatoes, you can put it over rice. We decided rice. And now we want to put in pepperoncinis. They smell good. I'm putting 8 in, mainly because I know my husband's going to be eating them. I'm not sure if I will eat them. But let me stir this up, make sure the bottom's smooth. Nothing's sticking to it. And I'm going to put my lid on and set it for 8 minutes. Now the thing about your Instant Pot too is you got to make sure that your seals on the inside are clean. You want to push down on the lid. That stops it from steam coming out. Now, if you think you did everything right and you still have some steam coming out, that's okay. In the olden days, I was deathly afraid of my grandma's pressure cooker that she had on the stove, and the little spigot on the top would be psh, 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 psh. I was afraid it was going to explode. Tell you the truth, being a kid. So let me set it for 8 minutes. You go cancel on the saute, and then you go pressure cook, and then you make your time go up or down. Mine needs to go up 2 from the last time I used it. Now what it will do is it'll beep telling me that everything's good, and then it'll come to pressure. Now it takes about 10 minutes. See, everything's good. It'll pressurize 10-15 minutes, and then it'll cook 8 minutes, and then because there's liquid in here, I don't want to automatically vent it when it's done. I want to let it sit for 10 minutes to let some of the pressure come down. I'll be back. Okay, this is how it looks right now. It's kind of runny, so I'm going to get 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and 2 tablespoons of water. Mix it up and put it in here and make sure this is on saute. Right now it's off because it just got done cooking. And we're going to thicken the gravy up a little bit. and I'll show you how it looks. Okay, when you do your cornstarch in water, it's going to be gluey on the bottom because the cornstarch has not dissolved into the water. Just keep stirring it, because I know it's kind of freaks people out at the beginning when they start cooking. And so it's going to be gooey at the bottom. Just keep stirring and it comes out thick, it looks like milk. So I'm going to put that in here to thicken up the gravy a little bit. Now, there's different ways of serving this. Like I said, you can serve it you can shred it at this point. Shred the chicken and put it on sandwiches. And of course the rice, which is what we're going to be doing, and mashed potatoes. Or whatever other way you want. You might want to put it over tortilla chips. Okay, I'm waiting for this to come to a boil. I'll give you a little tip. Make sure you read your labels on your products. I had grabbed a bottle of chicken bouillon granules. It was like a regular name brand, and I got it home and I looked at the label and it had wheat in it. So make sure that you get read the labels, make sure there's no wheat, rye, or barley in it. And of course, if you're dairy free, no dairy. That'll save you a lot of grief and a lot of throwing things away. If you have somebody that you can give it to, that's great. And like I said, I had to make my own spices. The ranch dressing mix and the au jus. Sorry, I was watching this come thicken. Yeah, it's getting nice and thick now. And of course I'm going to let it boil a little bit. If you want more recipes that I convert to gluten-free, dairy-free, and these spices are not a hard thing to do, just because the ranch dressing mix, it makes 6 packets of the rice, the dressing mix. So you can make it, and since I made it, I'm throwing it in other foods too. Okay, I'm going to turn this off. Cancel button, off. And then I'm going to serve it over rice. Just like this. I got to make sure I get some peppers in there. Nice gravy. There's 2 peppers. Let's try for 3. There. I hope you enjoy this recipe. There are other recipes you can make, gluten-free, dairy-free. You just need to know how to convert them. And that's what I'm here for. If you have any suggestions of recipes you might want to see, let me know in the comment section at the bottom. If you can subscribe to my channel, I'd really appreciate it. And be kind to your neighbors. I'll see you next time. Bye.